Welcome to our channel. Before we dive into yet another fascinating mythy, we'd like to invite you to watch, to like, and subscribe to the channel. Also activate the notification bell. This helps us continue to bring you in-depth studies and impactful revelations. Dark Ages, time of ignorancia, time of fear, time of deliberate blindness. Did it happen? Who caused it, and what was erased from history? In the late 4th century, Rome made a choice. They abandoned their ancient gods. They embraced Christianity. Then everything changed. Apples were destroyed, scrolls were burned, old ways were wiped. Only one truth was allowed. The Catholic Church rose to power and knowledge began to disappear within a few decades. Europe fell into darkness, was halted, education was suppressed, and the people, they were kept blind. This was not an accident. This was obscurantism. It is the act of hiding the truth deliberately, keeping people ignorant. Control what they are allowed to know, and the Catholic Church, they mastered it. Before the Dark Ages, many people could read and write. Illiteracy was normal, but after the Church took power, even monks could no longer read. They saw the words in the Bible as holy symbols. They memorized prayer. She followed orders, but they did not understand. People were told not to question it, to think, not to learn. Nanally, to overfear, over 1,000 years. This darkness covered European world, where books were dangerous, curiosity was punished, where knowledge was seen as hearsay for those who dared to resist. There was Fury Giordano Bruno, a man who saw beyond the lease, a man who questioned, a man who knew to Muckburn. In 1548, Bruno was a philosopher, mathematician, and scientists believed the stars were not just lights in the sky. He believed they were suns with their own planets, believed life existed beyond Earth, and most of our believed the universe was infinite. Church hated him for ethy, declared his ideas dangerous. They called him a heretic. They arrested him for 8 years. They tortured him. They tried to make him confess, deny what he knew, but Bruno refused, and so, on February 17, 1600, the Church made their decision. They sentenced him to death. Bruno was taken to Campo dei Fiori. A public square in Rome. His tongue was nailed shut, so he could not speak, was tied to a stake, and then they set him on fire. The flames consumed him. He did not scream, did not beg, stared at his executioners, and, in that moment, he became something greater, not a heretic, not a criminal, but a martyr for truth. This is what obscurantism does. It silences voices, it erases knowledge, it kills those who question it. For over 1,000 years, the Church kept the world in chains, but here's the truth: they never wanted you to know. The Dark Ages were not dark by accident. They were engineered, and no must ask, what else have they erased? Let's continue seeing how the Catholic Church took power, how knowledge was erased, how voices were silenced. Said, but that was just the beginning. What else was hidden? What truths were destroyed? And more importantly, the Dark Ages were not an accident. They were a choice, a deliberate decision to keep humanity blind, to erase the past, controlled the future. Before the Church took power, Europe was filled with wisdom, philosophermen, engineering, mythologic breakthroughs, then discovery board, then everything stoppeth, Library of Alexandria, burned pagan temples, destroyed ancient knowledge, buried church, rewrote history, called the old ways evil, called freethought hearsay, the punishment. Death. Great thinkers of the past, Plato, Aristotle, Pythagoras, their teachings were banned. Only one truth was allowed. Churches truth. For centuries people lived in fear, afraid to ask questions, afraid to think. Sinners was frozen, medicine was lost, technology was forgotten, the world was trapped, and the ones who tried to break free, they were hunted. Inquisition, a brutal campaign to destroy knowledge, to root out heretics, to silence anyone who dared to question. Torture, Shoshack burnings, all in the name of control by one the brightest minds of Europe. This fled, some hid their work, and some died. Survived, but even in the darkness, a few still dared to seek the truth. He worked in secret in hidden rooms and coded languages. He risked their lives to remember, and because of them, truth was not completely lost. Renaissance was coming, a rebirth of knowledge, a new age of time when the Church's grip would begin to break. But the question remains: if they erased so much, what else have they hidden? And more importantly, they still hiding it today. Next steps we're building something powerful again. Next part we'll dive into the truth about lost knowledge, secrets hidden within. Modern religion's final war between control and truth. Let's go even deeper. We've seen how knowledge was erased, how science was halted, how voices were silenced. But the story isn't over, because the Dark Ages were not just about destruction, they were about something far more dangerous, rooting reality itself. What happens when history is erased? When truth is rewritten? When the only story left us a lie? The church didn't just suppress knowledge, they replaced it, took ancient wisdom and rebranded it, called science heresy, called questioning sin. Anyone who saw the truth vanish. Dark Ages weren't just a time of ignorance, they were a deliberate program of control, a war against the myth. People were told what to think, what to believe, what to fear. Doubt was dangerous, logic was evil, obedience was mandatory. They controlled the books, they controlled the words, they controlled history. It sylphaned with that power, they shaped the world. And here's the terrifying part, it worked within a few generations. People forgot the past, they forgot their own power, they forgot their freedom, they forgot who they were. But not everyone forgot. Secret societies, the hidden scholars, ones who saw what was happening, they fought to preserve the truth, they worked in whispers, they hid knowledge in symbols, they passed it down in code, and because of them not everything was lost. Renaissance was coming's first cracks in the illusion of first sparks of awakening. But the church didn't just give up power, they adapted, they reshaped the gamma, they evolved their methods, and the war for knowledging ever truly ended. Even today, they still control the narrative, they still decide what is truth, they still keep the world blind. But now illusion is breaking. People are asking questions, people are searching for answers, are beginning to see, and once you see the truth, you can never go back. So now real question is, what happens next? If history has been rewritten, could it happen again? If knowledge was erased before, what if it's still happening now? What else have they hidden? And more importantly, what are they hiding next? The war for truth never ended. It's still happening now, and whether you realize it or not, you are part of it. Up this is it. We've gone from the rise of the dark, a jesty destruction of knowledge, rewriting of history, hidden war for truth, and now we've brought it to the present. This video doesn't just tell us, makes people question everything, night lingers in the mind. Feels forbidden. Let's push this even further. We've uncovered the lease, we've exposed the erasure of knowledge, va seen how history was rewritten. But now we ask the final question, if this has happened before, is it happening again? And if Soho is behind it? The Dark Ages were a time of control, but that control never truly ended. It just changed forms. They don't burn books anymore, they don't silence philosophers in the public square, no, they do it in other ways. They flood the world with misinformation, they rewrite history in textbooks, they control what you see, they control what you hear, they make you believe what they want you to believe. And if you ask the wrong questions, if you search for the real truth, you are marked, are labeled, are erased. Dark Ages never ended, they just became harder to see. Look at the world today. People are more connected than ever. Information is everywhere, and yet the truth has never been harder to find. The control the narrative, decide what is fact and what is fiction, the shape your reality. And most people, they never even notice, but once you see it, can never unsee. This is the new obscurantism. Through fire, not through force, but through deception. Dark Ages were about hiding, not they bury it under noise, distract yuthi, mislead yuthi, keep you looking in the wrong direction, and all the will of the real power remains hidden. Each are still in the cyclia, new dark agion. We don't even recognize yo, no, have a choice yo. Can ignore this prudent, it isn't real. Go back to sleeper, you can wake up. Who can see the illusion for what it is? Who can question everything? Who can question everything? Who can search for what they don't want you to find? Because the truth is still out. Those brave enough to seek it, though, you see it now. This is Ethoscript, takes the Dark Ages and makes it modern. It doesn't just expose the past, it forces the audience to question the present. This is how you make people think. Let's go even deeper. We've exposed the Dark Age we've seen how knowledge was a race we've revealed how control never ended but now, we must ask what comes next. Because if history is a cyclothon, we are heading toward something inevitable. Dark Ages weren't just about the past, they were about a system of controller. System that never went away, it only evolved. Look at the world today, we believe we are free, believe we have knowledge, you believe we have truth, but what if that's just another illusion? They don't need to burn books anymore, they don't need to silence scholars in the streets, no. They control the information itself. Decide. What is historicity? Decide. What is scientificity? Decide. What is real? If you question them, you are ridiculed, you are dismissed, you are erased. This is the new obscurantism. It, through fire and chains, bet, through lies and manipulation, they flood you with distraction, she keep you chasing illusion, she drown you in meaningless noise, all while they hide the real truth. Dark Ages, never and dead, just became harder to see, but if you know where to look, if you start asking the right questions, then the illusion begins to crack, and that is what they fear most. Because what happens when enough people wake up? What happens when the truth is revealed? The cycle ends. Last Dark Age ended with the Renaissance, a rebirth of knowledge, a time when people broke free from control and are on the edge of another awakening. Question is, will you be part of it, or will you be just another person in the illusion? Wake up. This is the final piece. It doesn't just reveal the past, it forces people to question the present, and it prepares them for the future.